Hi everyone, Aiden Starfang here, and I got an idea recently for a new project. And what that project is talking about strange, weird, unusual happenings in these small, kind of pretty much unheard of towns here in Utah that I have either lived in or around during my entire life here. So, for example, a murder that may have happened in Sunset, a train derailment, kidnapping, things like that, or, paranormal things as well. And I'm not going to be going off of just hearsay. I'm going to find news articles, link those, things like that. And the reason why I want to do this is to kind of, one, bring more light, more eyes to Utah, because I talk a lot of shit in my videos, but it comes from a place of love. What I mean is I grew up here, and there's a lot to hate, but there's a lot to take in, a lot to love, and I just really hate the direction that it's going with developers and with UDOT and the council and everything like that. And when I say the council, I don't just mean Sunset, I don't just mean Clinton or Roy. It's all of the cities, all the councils. They're all in on the take, and I hate to sound defeatist, but there's really nothing we can do unless unless we just go the French Revolution way and set up our own government. But hopefully this new series, I'm gonna call it Weird Tales, Strange Stories. It'll be something to the effect of like strange stories from small towns. Because when you compare Roy to Ogden, and then if you expand the scope outside of Utah, people are like, what the hell is Roy? Even you ask people from California where Ogden, Utah is, they won't know. They might know Salt Lake or St. George, but chances are they won't know anything on the Wasatch Front. So I think that this would be an interesting idea, an interesting project, and I hope you will all enjoy my first entry into the strange stories from small towns. I wanted to base my first entry into the Strange Stories series off of Roy City for a couple of reasons. One reason because I've lived in and around Roy most of my life. I've gone to school here, I've gone to work here, I've had friends here. I'm here all the time, basically. And I remember seeing videos of people talking about the drones over Jersey and in Maryland, and I thought, okay, that's kind of a new, recent phenomenon. I'm looking back at things that have already happened and that are already kind of solved, or things that are kind of left up in the air. And it's not specifically just Roy. This series is going to tackle other places, but for this first entry, I'm talking Roy. In a particular case, is about a plot to bomb the high school, Roy High School. It's the one and only high school in Roy in, I believe it was 2012. Two students, I think one of them was an ex-student, Joshua Hogan and Dallin Morgan, were planning to blow up the school. And as you could probably already guess, they were inspired by the events that transpired in Columbine in 1999, the Columbine Massacre, which, as we all know, it was carried out by Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. Now, nothing in this video is glorifying anything. I'm just shedding light on an incident that happened here. And it gets weirder than this. It doesn't just begin and end at two kids who are mad at people or angry at the world and wanting to blow up the school a la Columbine. It gets weirder. So they were sending around texts warning people, warning, I guess, kids that, students that they were friendly with. For example, in a throwaway phone they used, it was in texts listed in the affidavit by Hogan, read, "If I tell you one day to not go to school, make damn sure you and blank are not there." Dallin isn't on it. Another text message said he wants revenge on the world too. Another text Hogan wrote, "I just been kind of planning my get back at the world thing, and I figure if you had anyone you want to revenge on, I could see if I have anything planned." Now there's a reason why I'm reading these tweets, these texts that are listed here in this article. Because, like I said, it gets weirder. And of course, the school administrators found a map of Roy High that outlined where the school's cameras, blind spots are. They had planned to bomb the school and escape to the Gateway Airport, which I filmed at on my channel, and escape the state in a stolen airplane. They had purchased an advanced flight simulator computer program and logged hundreds of hours on it. I'm guessing that their hard drives were seized as evidence. They were going to fly to, not Gateway, Ogden Hinckley. But that's near the Gateway, it's still kind of part of that. Let's see. The entire plan was pretty much conceived by Joshua Hogan, but Dallin Morgan was involved. He was an ex-student and was in on it to hurt people. They went to court and they pled guilty. Hogan, at the time, he was a minor. He was 16 at the time. Was sentenced to 6 months in a youth prison. And I think Dallin Morgan got 105 days. Hogan had admitted he was fascinated by the 1999 Columbine massacre in Colorado. And he's always had a love of flying, aviation. It tended to not go so well together. It was weird. Hogan and his family said the bomb plot was a misguided attempt to raise awareness about safety concerns at the school. I'm sorry, I'm reading this live and I have to laugh. That's obviously, it's a code. It wasn't a plot. It's like you hack the government, get caught, and you say, "Oh, see, I brought awareness." What you're doing is illegal. That whole plan is attempted murder. It's insane. It's completely insane. Let's see. I'm going to see what Dallin Morgan was sentenced to. Still juvenile. I think it was 105 days. So this was back in 2012. Joshua Hogan, Dallin Morgan. Like I said, it gets weirder. Let's see. So I mentioned that the plot in 2012, Joshua Hogan, who was 16 at the time, Dallin Morgan, 18, they conspired to blow up the school, Roy High, during an assembly, then escape using a plane stolen from the Ogden Hinckley Airport. You know how I said it gets weirder? In 2013, apparently, and I was unaware of any of this at the time it was going on. I was living out of state in California. Hogan, he had turned 18 and ran for mayor. So, a recap of what happened. They found a map of the school, cameras, all that. No sign of dangerous material. Morgan plead no contest to second-degree felony criminal mischief. Was sentenced to 105 days in jail and up to 18 months in probation. Okay, Dallin Morgan. Hogan pled guilty to possession of weapon of mass destruction, spent 6 months at a juvenile detention facility. Now Hogan is out of jail and is running for mayor. This is 2013, of Roy City. Because Hogan was not tried as an adult, he is eligible to run for mayor. And he has met all the requirements to be on the mayoral ballot. If they are 18 and they are a citizen and they live in Roy, and they met that kind of qualification, they can run for office, said Chris Davis, Roy City manager. In an email to the Standard Examiner, Hogan says his time in juvenile detention has rehabilitated him, and he can be trusted. I feel that my past with Roy High School incident can definitely play a role in whether I could gain enough votes to secure the mayoral race. No shit. Really? I have made more than my fair share of mistakes, and I feel that being trusted with the mayorship would be the ultimate way for me to fully give back to my community. I'm sorry. Yeah, I plotted to blow up the school. Will you elect me mayor? I was a minor at the time, see? So a little loophole. Hogan will face off against current mayor Joe Ritchie and current councilman Willard Cregan in a primary race to be held in August. This was back in 2013, and obviously this kid did not get elected mayor. Okay, I've been doing some searching, and I tried finding results of the mayoral. Obviously, this kid didn't win, as I had said. And I found one in the Taipei Times, a Chinese website. That's the place I have to go to find the news, because the city is so embarrassed they don't want to, they don't want to talk about it. Let's see. Hogan said he recognized what he did was wrong, and he was rehabilitated and prepared to lead the city of about 37,000 people north of Salt Lake City. He insisted he never had any intent to bomb the school. People should trust me, because I have proven one thing, that I am human, Hogan said in an email before the election. I have made mistakes, just like the rest of us. We've all made mistakes in our past, and I am no exception. Yes, because we've all planned to blow up a fucking school during an assembly, and then escape. And then run for mayor. He faced off in Tuesday's primary against Ritchie and Cregan. Now, remember, this is back in August of 2013. Most considered Hogan a long shot to get through the nonpartisan primary, in which voters choose 2 candidates from a pool of 3 to advance the election. Ritchie has been mayor for 8 years, and Cregan a councilor for 6. Ritchie said Hogan had every right to be on the ballot, but he questioned his motives and whether he is truly rehabilitated. He said many in Roy are still shaken by Hogan's bombing plan, and are perplexed why he was in the race. I'm not so sure how sincere he is, said Ritchie, who has never even met Hogan. I think he's in it for the notoriety. Yeah. Hogan has just completed his first semester at Weber State University in Ogden, where he is studying political science, with hopes to have a career in the political realm. Hogan said he was misguided in high school. His meeting with the Columbine principal was for research, for an article about school security for his high school newspaper, he said. I know back when I was in high school, whenever I needed to get the scoop on cybersecurity or, just like safety in general, I would make threats and things like that. Get her incarcerated and then schedule an interview with, the local administration. What the You cannot. It's insane. Roy High School officials knew about the meeting prior to him traveling to Colorado. He said he did not seek out the attention that has come with his bid for mayor, he said, but seized the opportunity to let residents get to know him better. I think that, if nothing else, the citizens of Roy used a valuable opportunity to have their concerns addressed, Hogan wrote in the email. Oh, I just skipped it, and the main the main bulletin point here is a Utah teenager arrested last year in a plot to blow up his high school was on Tuesday eliminated in the race for mayor of a small Utah city. Results released by officials on Tuesday evening showed 18-year-old Joshua Hogan received less than 5% of the vote in the primary, preventing him from moving on as a candidate on the ballot in the Roy, Utah mayoral race. If people actually fucking voted for him, wow. Wow. I mean, we've seen what people will vote for and elect into the White House. So, I mean, a smaller town election. Who's to say, right? Who's to say? I said that it starts off weird, spooky, strange, gets a bit weirder. Very weird. A kid plans to blow up his school with a friend. A year later, and not even like a decade later, 20 years later, no, a year later, barely out of high school, barely even in college, wants to run for mayor. And I think the one councilman's comment was right about he wants to do it for the notoriety. Yeah. Of course he does. I would trust anything this fucking guy has to say. Oh my god. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this first entry into strange stories from small towns. And I'll have more coming in the future.